So today we're going to do an overview of how to become a happy homestead maker, and it's all about minding your manners. So, minding your manners is an acronym, MANORS, and we're going to just do a quick overview of each of them, and you're going to have a takeaway from each one, and hopefully you'll be able to think on this. We'll go into it a little bit. So, number one is manage. So, first of all, you have to manage your mind. Most of us in our culture, Western culture in the States, we have this tendency to think of our value coming from a job. Our value is coming from a paycheck. Our value comes from how many different things we can handle at one time, how we're viewed in the corporate ladder, or how many pats on the back we get for, you know, our initials behind our name, or a job well done for wherever it is that we might work. So, managing your mind comes how you view your role at home. And most of us don't even take this very seriously. We think it's just a pastime when really it's a profession. Our responsibility is at home. So, if I were to tell you the main point of this, I would tell you in my drill sergeant voice, you've made a home. It's up to you to make it matter. It's not just going to happen on its own, and whatever it is, your home life or your goals with your home or your future dreams on reflecting back and how you want to you back, what it would look like, it doesn't just happen. Okay. So you have to make it matter. Does it matter to you? I mean, it might not to everyone, but does it matter to you? So, number two is analyze. You need to analyze your assets, and your assets are more than money. What do you know? Who do you know? What skills do you have? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to get dirty? All of these things are assets. We don't really think of assets in the form of anything outside of money or investments. Those are assets, and I'll talk about them throughout time. I have plenty to maybe mention on them. But as far as assets for this context, you need to analyze your assets that are beyond money. Number three, nurture. Nurture your network. And when I say nurture your network, I mean the people in your home first. Your people are your priority. They require intentional investment. So think of it as that's your core, and it starts with you. You have to nurture you going out. And there's more to nurturing yourself than a facial, a pedicure, a manicure. I've tried it. It doesn't work. It's good. They're fun. It's awesome. That's not the nurturing I'm talking about. I'm talking about the deep nurturing, the nurturing that you don't have to spend money on. So that's number three, nurture your network. Number four is optimize. You need to optimize your opportunities. This one's pretty vast. So this one is all about creating and elevating your experiences. You need to optimize them. This is also like the fun. I mean, I'm probably the number one guilty person of this. Everything's so serious, like all the time. It's not. And I've grown to not take myself too seriously and to just take life and make it fun, make it more enjoyable, learn something new. I'll go into some of that. I mean, I was an adult. I always wanted to learn how to knit. I finally did. And now I can knit wherever I go. So optimize your opportunities. This also goes into not just your fun and your activities, but circumstances. I have a story on a trip we would never have taken had we not had something fall apart. And had that not happened, we wouldn't have had the opportunity. I could have just thrown a fit and, you know, stomped my feet and threw my tantrum. But instead, I took the high road and made the most of the chance that we had. Optimize that opportunity, and that is for sure. We'll go. You'll hear all these stories. Um, R is refine. You need to refine your reputation. Everyone has a reputation. We're not always that proud of it, are we? What are you known for right now? What do you want to be known for or as? Believe it or not, it's kind of a choice. So, this is another intentional thing. You have to refine your reputation. You need to refine yourself inside, outside. This is all about self development. And this is the work. Like, this isn't, oh, your reputation is your personality. This is if you have a certain thing you want to change, you change it. So, refine is how you want to show up. You create yourself into the role model that you want to be. So, number six, simplify. You need to simplify your situation. This is all about home based living. This one's huge. Like most people think of homesteading, and this is where it lives. The home and the homestead lives right here in Simplify, and it is very, very deep. So, in between your home, your homestead, you have to simplify it. If you have a homestead, what can you do to simplify it? What do you want on your homestead? What do you want to learn how to do to make things simple? My point was simplify, and simplifying your situation is simplicity creates security. So let me just say them one more time. Minding your manners consists of manage your mindset, analyze your assets, nurture your network, optimize your opportunities, refine your reputation, and simplify your situation. That is the full ball of wax for minding your manners. Easier said than done, really and truly. And this is not a once and done. This is an ongoing thing. This is a lifetime of minding your manners, which is kind of a good challenge. How is it that you want to mind your manners? So, I have a framework for each of these, and I want you to be able to see in your mind what this looks like in terms of a visual. Okay, so M being manage your mindset. Homemaking is like a flower garden, and you are the gardener. So you have to manage your mind on being the gardener. You have a garden, that's your life. And I love flowers. So I always think in the term of flower garden. So you have a garden. It's up to you what grows and what doesn't. You're the gardener. You get the choice on managing that garden. It's no one else's garden, it's your garden. You have to work the garden, tend to the garden, all of that. We'll go in that in just a second. But the first step is knowing you're the gardener. It's your garden. It is your garden to tend to, no one else's. So, A, being analyze your assets. Let's take this into the garden again. These are your tools. These are your garden tools. and your garden resources, like your ground, your shovel, your rake, where to find other resources you don't have. Who do you know that has that tractor or has a tiller or has some sort of tool or know how of how to do something? Analyze your assets. What do you have to tend to grow your garden? N is nurture your network. This is all about your nutrients. You have to give your garden the nutrients it needs to grow. Think of water, think of compost tea, think of sunshine. All of it is needed. Without it, it's not going to grow. It's just not. So, number 4 is optimize your opportunities. So, optimize being you get to pick out the specialty seeds. You get to pick the seeds that would be fun for you to grow, not just your standard seeds. Think of this as your specialty seeds. So, in flower gardening, which I love dahlias. Love them. Love peonies, love dahlias, love zinnias. Whatever it is that's specialty to you is the seeds that you get to pick. So you get to optimize your opportunity to pick these special seeds. Okay. So going on with the analogy, refine. So refining your reputation, here's what I want you to think of as far as putting that in context of a garden. This is where the garden gets weeded. It's work. And sometimes there's differences on how you work. Sometimes it's weeding, like you're pulling straight, like the one weed, versus you're cultivating, which is the difference. This is where weed prevention happens. This is like, scratching the surface of the soil so that you're aggravating it where weeds won't grow, versus pruning, like you're going to prune a certain branch on a tree or a bush it's in your garden, versus tilling. Sometimes you just till the ground. You're like, we're going to start from scratch. We're going to disrupt this soil. We're going to make it how we want it. So think of the weeding of the garden as more of the refinement. It's the work. And last but not least is simplify. Simplify your situation. So this is where your focus is on the core crops. This is the foundation of building a beautiful bouquet. So usually when you have a bouquet, you usually have like your ingredients, so called, for a bouquet. You have basic ingredients. And then you have your specialty flowers or crops that would go in it. But all of this stuff is needed in order to have a beautiful bouquet. It's really kind of a beautiful analogy to me because it really flows into what I would love for you to understand is not just that your life is a garden, but your life as a garden comes in seasons. And one of the things that I fought is not owning and growing in the season I was in. I fought it like I was in summer season of my life and I was fighting it thinking it was in spring. I was treating my garden of a life like it was in a different season when really I needed to own my season I was in and grow in it because you don't get that season back the exact same way. So, next time I'll go over minding your manners if I was starting from scratch. I'll go through each one and hindsight's 2020, y'all. So, I will tell you if I had to go back, what would I do different if I was starting from scratch? If you want to make the most of your homestead maker journey, make sure you're on the email list at thehappyhomesteadmaker.com.